Hey, back again. Um, this week, I'm going to talk about awareness again. Last time, I think we talked about consciousness and awareness, but this time it's awareness. Um, and again, definitions are meaningful in the fact that through definitions, or through me defining a word, you may have a better grasp of what I'm talking about. So that's what we do first again. Awareness, I would say, um, easily the act of being aware, of course, which doesn't help too much. To be aware uh, means to me to be able to perceive all impulses, the ability to perceive it. Okay, so um, let's say here I am out here. Can you hear these birds? Okay, there's birds singing around me. I'm conscious of it, but I'm also aware of it. Um, so if I'm really concentrating on the birds, listening to the birds, I might not be conscious of the car that's driving by, but I'm able to hear it. It's in my perception. So actually, there's an awareness of all the sounds around me, even though I'm attending or concentrating or being conscious of a single thing. But at the same time, all possibilities exist. So if we take that as a definition, I can say, are you aware? It was pretty cool. There was this Buddhist monk, and he was having I don't remember what they actually call him, but he was talking to a bunch of people, and he said, okay, if you're aware, if you have awareness, raise your hand, right? So he looks out in the audience. There's a few out there. Okay, he says, okay, you passed. Now, what about if you're out there and you're not aware? Can you raise your hand? And then a lot of people raise their hand. They don't know they're aware. And he says, well, now you're aware that you don't know you're aware, so you've also passed. Right? So there's an awareness of being not aware. You see? So the awareness is encompassing everything in a way that that even if you're not aware, you can be aware that you're not aware. All right. So I, I'll put forth the idea that all human beings are born with innate awareness. Um, and as they mature, as they grow, as they increase in experiences, they become conscious of different aspects of their awareness. But if you watch baby, in the first couple of months, just sit laying there and put him out on the grass on a nice day and just put him out there, and you just watch that kid. He is totally aware of what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's totally aware of it. All the sounds, all the colors that are starting to come into focus, um, or the unfocused reality that's around him. So I think that the awareness is an innate ability. But what happens as we get older, um, our awareness becomes limited. We are imposed upon by outside sources so that we focus, we attend to uh, become most conscious of what is valued by the family, the society of which we live. So take for example Europe 500 years ago. Going to church and praying to God everybody was conscious of it. Everybody was doing that. It was in their awareness of this spiritual aspect of themselves, to that extent that they could be, which was dictated by society. Outside of that, if you had some kind of experience that was not in line with the church, then you were a heretic and had a chance of being punished or burned or whatever it might be. Now today, in contrast, maybe there's a lot of people that are not too aware of their own spiritual side. There's a different definition. We're gonna have to come to that to another time. What is spiritual? But they maybe are not religious. They have no contact with the spiritual side of themselves, and it's not part of their consciousness. They're not aware of it. So that has been through the life they lived, been filtered out. Okay, so you can maybe say that awareness is being with no filters, because you can be conscious, right, of a thing, but you can also be unconscious. But your unconscious is also a part of your awareness. Are you unconscious of things? Yes. Okay, you're aware of it. So that's like this, right? So when we practice an art like yoga or Tai Chi or Aikido or the thousands of arts and techniques that there are, we become better acquainted with what we experience, what we perceive, what we are conscious of, and the things of ourselves that are getting in the way of perceiving more. We try to work with those, right? So working with ourselves to expose our limitations will eventually increase your consciousness of your awareness. Does it make sense? How conscious you are of the awareness you have. So the same monk that I was talking about to you before, he was like this. He said like this: if you look around you and the weather comes, the weather is maybe like your mind, right? Where you, it's raining, it's thunder and lightning, and there's big winds and storms blowing around you. But the awareness is more like the atmosphere, the space where these things are happening, yeah? And then that weather will go away, but the atmosphere is still there. All of a sudden the sun comes out, it becomes totally wind still. You can just experience the blue sky, windless blue sky. But eventually that too will pass, and then will come a new weather. So there's always a changing in the weather. That which does not change is the space in which it exists. Right? So that's also a nice way to nice metaphor for awareness, I think. So as we practice, we become aware of the weather, and as we become aware of the weather, we see where the weather happens, and then we notice that the weather changing all the time in an unchanging space. Yeah. So I don't really know if we can increase our awareness, but we can we can remove the hindrances that keep us from being aware. Okay? So that's I think that's about as far as I can go today. Thanks for listening. Peace.